any third party related classes and interfaces. That is called Spring Bean. Understood? A Spring Bean is a key concept of the Spring framework, and the Spring Beans are nothing but a simple Java classes which doesn't extend or implements any predefined classes or interfaces from third-party libraries. That is called Spring Beans case. And who will manage the Spring Bean, guys? Who will manage the Spring Bean? Spring Beans are always managed by Spring IOC container only. Spring IOC container only means that till object creation to object destruction, so that it will be the taking care of everything by the Spring framework. Understand? The Spring Beans are always managed by Spring IOC container, guys, means that till object creation to object destruction will be taken care of everything by the Spring framework. That is called the importance of Spring Bean, guys. And we can represent the Java class as a Spring Bean in multiple ways, guys. One is what? Configuring such a Java class as a Spring Bean definition. Another one is what? By using the one of the stereotype annotations from the Spring API, okay, from the Spring library, such as what? Marking a class as an @component annotation, and marking the class as an @service annotation, and marking the class as an @repository annotation, and marking the class as an what? @controller annotation. You can mark this, you can mark your Java class, okay, any one of the stereotype annotation, guys, so that that particular Java class will act as on the Spring Bean by default. Understand, guys? If you are marking such a Java, if you mark any Java class with the help of this stereotype annotations means, so that automatically that Java class will be represented as a Spring Bean, guys. Stereotype, what is meant by the stereotype? It's a special type of an annotation, guys. These are the special types of the annotations from Spring library, which marks the Java class as a Spring Beans automatically. Understand, Sachin? Yeah, fine. And so another one is what, guys? Another one is for what? Another way of configuring the Java class as a Spring Bean by using Java based configuration, guys, with the one of the annotation called @bean. @bean. One of the annotation called @bean, guys. Understood? Okay, fine. Okay, fine, guys. So these are the three ways of representing the Java class as a Spring Bean, guys. Configuring the required Java class as a Spring Bean definition in the Spring configuration file. Another one is marking the Java class as a stereotype annotation called @controller and @service or @component or @repository, so that automatically those classes will become as a Spring Bean by default automatically, guys. And the next one is, whenever you guys are implementing the Java based configurations in the Spring framework, guys, so you can mark the particular class as a, you can mark the particular method as a Spring Bean definition. So that is called @bean. That's all. Okay. See, there is some sort of differences between all these three techniques. Okay, there will be some sort of differences between all these three techniques, guys. So see, typically in the traditional approach, we are following the Spring Beans as in what? XML configurations. Okay, mostly for our project development, mostly in the real-time projects, we are going to use for what? This stereotype configurations. This is the one of the very useful very useful technique as part of these three. Okay, and these are the nothing but somewhat the advanced, the latest versions of the developing the Spring application using Java based configurations. This is the somewhat trending in the market. Okay, and industry is still using any one of these two mechanisms. Okay, as your wish. Okay, yes. So don't worry, I'm going to talk about in detail in the upcoming slides. Okay, yes. Every Spring Bean in the Spring framework by default nature is for what, guys? Every Spring Bean in the Spring framework, guys. So by default nature is for what? Come on, guys. So every spring bean in the every spring bean in the spring framework by default nature is for what case? A singleton case. As a programmer, you no need to as a programmer, you no need to write a singleton logic in the spring applications case. By default, spring container will provide every spring bean as a singleton. So singleton means one object per JVM. Okay, one instance per entire application of the particular bean class. That is called singleton. Okay, that is called singleton case. Understood? Singleton means singleton means singleton means as a programmer, you no need to define any kind of the custom logic to define to define the spring bean as a singleton case. By default nature is for what? By default nature of the spring boot. By default nature of our spring boot class. By default nature of our spring boot class guys is as a singleton. So mean that one instance per JVM, one instance per JVM of a spring bean class. That is called singleton. Everybody is that clear? Everybody is that clear, guys? These are the things which we have discussed in the last session, right? Right or not, guys? Done. Yeah, JVM or per container. So you can consider as a container, Sachin. So mean that you cannot have the point is, so spring container case, let us assume case. Okay, singleton means per a single object per container. Okay, single object per container. That is called so singleton. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So let's get into the next slide, guys. So how to represent a Java class as a Spring Bean? So for example, we have a two classes such as what employee class, such as what employee class and the customer class, guys. Such as what employee class and the customer class. Employee class and the customer class, guys. Okay. Such as employee class and the customer class. How can you mark this? So right now, these two classes are a Spring Bean classes. Why? Because these two classes are not at all extending and implementing any third-party related classes and interfaces. So definitely, I can say the employee class and the customer class will become as a Spring Bean classes automatically. So see, guys, so can consider as a Spring Bean classes. Now, I am just marking these two classes. I'm just defining these two classes as part of the Spring configuration file as in what? Spring Bean definitions. So see, guys, these are nothing but the Spring Bean definitions, guys. How to represent a Java class as a Spring Bean? By using the bean tag. Okay, and you can supply some identity of the bean. Okay, and you can supply the fully qualified name of the class. Okay, so that you can mark that Java class as a Spring Bean by default here. Okay, you can once you configured such a certain Java class as a Spring Bean, certain class as a certain class as a Spring Bean case, make sure that you need to configure that bean definition in the configuration file. Everybody is that clear? Everybody is that clear or not? Right. Yes, this is the first way of defining the Java class as a Spring Bean, Bhupal. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So see, guys, that is what, guys, that is what I clearly mentioned here. How you are going to mark this Java class as a Spring Bean. Okay, see, by representing the arrows. Okay, so as many as number of classes, guys, as many as number of classes, you can mark. So you can define that particular Java class as a Spring Bean. Sir, one important point, as I already told you, every Spring Bean will becomes as a Java class. Sorry, every Spring Bean will becomes as a Java class, guys. But every Java class may or may not be the Spring Bean, right or not? For example, there are the 10 Java classes are there in your project. Okay, there are the 10 Java classes are there in your project, guys. Out of the 10 Java classes, you have configured only the 5 classes as a Spring Beans. So then tell me how many Spring Beans are there? How many Java classes are there? Can you guys please confirm? There are the totally 10 classes are there in the Java project. Okay, you have configured some Java classes as a Spring Bean. Assume that five Java classes you have represented as a Spring Beans in the Spring configuration file. Could you please tell me, so how many Java classes are there and how many Spring Beans are there? 5 will be considered as a Spring Beans and 5 will be considered as what? Normal Java classes. What is the difference between normal Java class and the normal Java class and the Spring Bean, guys? So normal Java class, you can create as many as number of objects by using the new keyword, right or not? But once you define that particular class as a Spring Bean, the default nature of the default nature of that Spring Bean as an what? Singleton. Only one object only will be created and always return the same object to the resources. Same always it will returns like as the same object only. Understood, guys? Everybody? Sir, most of the people are very bit confused. Okay, so Java classes will be considered as a Spring Beans or not? Assume that there are the 10 classes are there in your project. Only 5 classes are configured in the configuration file. Only 5 classes are configured as on the configuration file, guys. So mean that only 5 classes will be considered as a Spring Bean and 5 classes are not at all be considered as a Spring Bean. Assume that. Okay. Understand my point again or not? Everybody. Only 5 classes will be considered as a Spring Beans and only another 5 classes are not considered as a Spring Beans. Understand? So what is the difference between a normal Java class and the Spring Bean, guys? A normal Java class, you can create as many as a number of objects by using the new keyword. Okay. But when you configure such a class as a Spring Bean, guys, okay, the default nature of our Spring Bean is for what? Singleton. Only one instance only will return for every time. Right or not? No. So Bhupal Reddy, you are wrong. So means if you have the 20 employee records in the collection object, you cannot consider that one collection as a singleton. So singleton behavior is different. See, collection means it's for just for holding the bulk data. Okay, collections is meant for just for holding the bulk data, Bhupal Reddy. Okay, it is not a singleton. That doesn't means that singleton. Singleton means okay, only one instance will be created per container, and when you request that particular bin, and always returns the same instance, not a new instance every time. Okay, understood? Once the object is created for that particular Spring Bean class, Bhupal, okay, it is going to return the same instance for every time. That is an example for that singleton. Okay. Done. So let's get into the next slide. Let's get into the next slide, guys. Okay, let's get into the next slide. So basic flow, guys. So basic flow. What do you mean by the basic flow of the Spring application, guys? Okay, as a programmer, guys, he will be the developing some sort of classes in his project. Okay, so he will be the developer some sort of the project, some sort of the Java classes as a project, guys. And how to develop this Java class, which we are going to talk on the next slide. Okay, as per this the scenario, just need to understand. So just need to understand, as a programmer, he developed some couple of classes. Okay, as a programmer, he developed some couple of Java classes in his project. Okay, and those couple of Java classes wanted to work as in the Spring Bean. So for that, so what we need to do, you need to configure this Java classes as a Spring Bean in the Spring configuration file or not? Understood? He has to configure that Java class as a Spring Beans in the Spring configuration file or not, guys? Yes, definitely. Okay, and then who will activate the container? Who will activate the container, guys? Who will activate the container in the Spring application? So programmer need to activate the Spring container, guys, either by XML bean factory container or application context container. Who will activate the Spring container in the Spring application? So programmer only, guys. Programmer have a control Programmer have a control to instantiate the Spring container by creating a certain class objects by using the new keyword. Yes. So once the Spring container got activated, Spring container always trying to find for first what guys? Spring configuration file. Okay, so once the Spring container got activated, guys, so that Spring container always finds the location of the Spring configuration file and read that Spring configuration file into the memory and creates and the Spring Bean objects in the memory, guys. Understand? First, what the Spring container will finds the location of the Spring configuration file, guys, and reads that the Spring configuration file and load that bean definitions into the memory. And so that Spring container will create. So that Spring container will create what? Spring container will create what, guys? Objects in the memory, guys. So whatever the bean definitions you have mentioned here, whatever the bean definitions you have mentioned in the Spring configuration file. So for those bean definitions, case, the respect to the objects will be created in the memory, guys. Understood? Everybody? Okay. Yes. Okay. There is in the animation error, guys, in this flow. Try to understand. As a programmer, first he will create a Java classes, and those Java classes will be configured as in the Spring Beans. Okay. Those configure Java class as a Spring Beans. Then he will activate with what? Okay, he will activate with what, guys? Spring container, and then Spring container will load the Spring configuration file into the memory, and it will create for what, guys? It will create the respective the Bain definitions as a objects in the memory. Understand? And then so as a programmer, he can request, at this point of time, guys, at this point of time, all the objects are get created by the heap. Okay, all the objects are get created by the Spring container, and those objects are available in the heap memory, guys. As a programmer, he can request the particular Spring Bean class, guys. Okay, as a programmer, he can request the particular Spring Bean class from the Spring container by using some sort of methods that I am going to talk in the later. Okay, so if the requested object is presented in the memory, means then it will return the object back to the programmer, so that the programmer can call the service methods of that particular Spring Bean class. Hope you guys are understand the basic flow of the Spring application here. Come on, guys, everybody. Everybody, can you guys please confirm over the chat box? The basic flow of a Spring application, is that clear? Okay, fine. Come back to here. Come back to here, guys. This is the basic flow of the Spring application, guys. See, Sachin. So if your Java class is extending any third-party provided classes into our class, means that we cannot consider it as a Spring Bean, Sachin. Even though if you configure that bean class in the Spring configuration file, that will act like as in the Spring Bean, but we cannot say it as in the Spring Bean, guys. Why? Because your class is extended with third-party related classes and interfaces. Understood? That's all. Let's get into the next slide. Guys. So these are the things which we have completed so far on the last session. Okay. Yeah. Let's get into the understanding for the coupling concept in the Spring framework. Okay. So let us try to understand the coupling concept in the Spring framework, guys. Java is an object-oriented programming language, guys. And coupling in the Java will plays like as a very important role when you guys are working with the Java classes and objects. Is that true? So Java is on the object-oriented programming concept, guys. Coupling in Java will plays like as a very important role when you guys are working with what? The Java classes and objects. Understand? And basically the coupling refers to extend the so basically the coupling refers to what? Refers to the extension of knowledge of one class knows about like as in another class, case. So as you know that one, guys, whenever you want to create some other class, so whenever the one class wanted to start communicating with another class, means what you need to do, guys, you will be creating an object of that required class inside your class or not. So that is nothing but an what coupling, guys. Okay. So if one class calls like as in the another class, if one class calls like as in another class, or one class communicating with another class, guys, that is called collaboration. Okay, that is called collaboration, or we can say it as an what coupling. We can say it. We can say it as an what the coupling, guys. Understand, guys, everybody? So Java is an the object-oriented programming language. Coupling will plays like very vital important role in the very vital important role when you are working with the Java objects and the classes case. And the coupling basically refers to what extending the knowledge. So basically refers to the extent knowledge of one class knows about like as the another class. Okay, if the one class if the one class calls like as another class, or one class communicating with another class, guys, then we can call it as an what collaboration. Then we can call it as an what collaboration, guys. Okay, and so there are the different types of couplings are there in couplings are there, guys. One is what a tight coupling, another one is what loose coupling. Okay, when you are developing the Spring application, when you are developing like as in the Spring application, guys, always we are going to get the object, we are going to get like as an what loose coupling between the Java objects, guys. This is what the Spring is supported. Understand, guys? There are the two types of the couplings are there in Java. One is what the tight coupling, another one is what the loose coupling, guys. Okay, the tight coupling means I will talk about that one. Okay, so and the Spring will always supported by what loose coupling only. Okay, Spring doesn't supports with what the tight coupling concept. Spring always supports with what the loose coupling, guys. So we can get the loose coupling between the Java objects in the two techniques. Okay, we can get the loose coupling between the Java objects in the two techniques, guys. One is what developing the classes by using the interface approaches. One is for what, guys? Developing the classes by using interface approaches, so that will automatically get the loose coupling between the Java objects, but it should not be 100% of loose coupling. Understood my point, guys? So in Java, there are the multiple ways. So in Java, we can get like as in the loose coupling between the Java objects by using abstract classes and interfaces concept, guys. Okay, so if you are implementing such things, okay, we cannot get like as an 100% of loose coupling, guys. Some extent you will get what the loose coupling benefit. Understand, guys? So that is what one is for what developing the Java classes by using interfaces approaches. We can call it as an what we can get the loose coupling, guys. Another one is for what dependency injection concept. Okay, dependency injection concept, guys. You just need to hand over those two classes to the Spring container, so that Spring container will create those objects in the memory, and Spring container only will inject such objects into the one class into the another class, case. That is called a dependency injection. And who will perform the dependency injection, guys, in the Spring framework? Spring container or programmer? Who will perform the dependency injection in the Spring framework, guys? Container or programmer? Can you guys please confirm? Yes, Spring container, guys. Spring container, not a programmer. Okay, Spring container only will take care of everything. So there also tell me, guys, how can you achieve like as the loose coupling between the Java objects? How can we achieve the loose coupling between the Java objects? Can anyone please try to respond? How many ways we can get the loose coupling between the Java objects, guys? One is by using interfaces concept. Another way is for what? So dependency injection concept supported by the Spring framework, guys. Okay, so only these two techniques, only in these two ways only you can get the loose coupling between the Java objects. So that is the thing. Okay, so let's get understand with what the tight coupling is, tight coupling scenarios. Okay, if you guys observe carefully, there are the two classes are there here. One is called mail service class, another class is called what Gmail service. Okay, so our mail service guys, our mail service wanted to send some data. Our mail service class wanted to utilize some other class services. What is that the class name? Our mail service class wanted to utilize some services from the other mail service, guys. Other mail service. Tell me what is the class name here? Here, what will be the main class and what would be the dependent class? What would be the main class and what would be the dependent class here? Please confirm. Mail service is a main class and Gmail service is a dependent class. Mail service is a main class and Gmail service is a dependent class. How can you say it is, sir? you are creating the Gmail service object inside the main class, guys. So, okay, whenever you guys are creating such an object inside the one class, guys, that class will be considered as in the main class. Understand? So Gmail service is creating any other objects. Gmail service class is creating any other class objects, guys. Tell me. Gmail service is creating any other class objects or not? No, right? No. Gmail service is not at all creating any other class objects, guys. So we cannot say here the thing is the mail service is a main class and the Gmail service is nothing but the dependent class. So because we are creating the Gmail service object inside the mail class service, guys. So this is how exactly the scenario one will be what the tight coupling between the two objects, guys. Okay, so without creating the Gmail service object, guys, without creating the Gmail service object, it won't create with what the mail service object. Understand, guys? Without creating the Gmail service object by the JVM, guys, it won't create with what main object that is nothing but a mail service class. Understand? This is how where exactly the tight coupling we can see in our Java projects. Understand? This is how where exactly the tight coupling between the Java objects are not. This is how this is how the tight coupling between the Java objects are not, guys. Whenever you guys are creating any other class object inside the one class, such objects will become as an what tightly coupled objects. Such objects we can call it as an what tightly coupled objects. Everyone, is that clear? Yeah, fine. So this is the scenario one, guys. So this is the scenario one. Observe carefully. The mail service is the main class. Gmail service is the dependent class. You are creating the Gmail service object inside the main class, guys. Okay, so mean that these two objects are tightly coupled, guys. Without creating an object of the Gmail service, it won't create a mail service class object, guys. That is the problem with the tight coupling. So this is the scenario one. And coming to the scenario one to scenario two as well, guys. So scenario two, whenever your Java application is collecting some objects from the registry software. Okay, whenever the Java application is collecting some Java objects from the registry software, guys, that is also the tight coupling between the two object the tight coupling between the objects, guys. Understand? So for example, so we have a JNDA concept. So we have a JNDA concept, guys, Java naming directory interface concept. Okay, so every application server will contains what some middleware services. Application servers means what, such as Wildfly, okay, such as WebLogic, okay, such as JBoss, okay, such as JBoss, okay, JBoss, Wildfly, and the WebLogic, guys. Okay, so we have some application servers. Every application server will maintain what some middleware services. So one of the middleware services for what, guys? One of the middleware services for what? JNDA. So JNDA. So JNDA stands for what? Java naming directory interface. It will contains the it can store what, guys? Objects, guys. Those objects we can so that those objects are globally shareable in the project. Understand? Once you created an entry in the JNDA registry, guys, those object will be exposed to all the developers in the project, guys. Understand? So this is the Java naming directory, guys. If you your Java application contains what JNDA code to collect the object of information from JNDA registry. JNDA registry means it's nothing but on the block of memory, guys, which will contains what Java objects. Those Java objects we can collect from the Java objects through JNDA code in the Java application. Okay, in this scenario as well, guys, there isn't the tight coupling between what Java application and the JNDA registry, guys. Understood, everybody? Understood or not? So the real life example, guys, you cannot operate the TV by using the remote. Right or not? Is that possible? Without remote, can you operate the TV, guys, nowadays in the smart TVs? Tell me, guys. See, the third party applications of the Play Store that is the different story. Basically, that is a different story, guys. So you cannot operate the TV without the remote or not. That is also the tight coupling between what TV and the remote. You cannot run the fan without switch. Is that true? In such a cases, the relation between what the switch and the fan will also have what tight coupling between the Java objects. You cannot run the vehicle without engine, right or not? You cannot run the vehicle without engine, guys. So mean that, so the relation between those two components also will become as what tightly coupled. Is that true? Is that true or not, guys? So these are the two scenarios, guys. These are the two scenarios. Yes. Okay. Second scenario, guys, you are writing the JNDA code in the Java application, guys. You will be writing the JNDA code in the Java application. That JNDA code will request the particular object from the JNDA registry only. Understand? So see, the point here is whenever you guys are creating one class object inside the another class, guys, then there is the tight coupling between the Java objects, guys. That is the scenario one. And coming to the scenario two. Scenario two means what? Nothing but collecting the object information from JNDA registry of application server, guys. In such a scenario as well, so we can say it as what? Tight coupling. Sir, as I already given you the example, the relationship between the switch and the fan is in the tight couple case. Without switch, you cannot run the fan. Okay, without remote, you cannot operate the TV. That is the best example of tight coupling. Okay, and then next one is for what? Without engine, you cannot start the vehicle, right or not? So these are the tight coupling between the Java objects. Typically in a project development, okay, one object will requires for what? Another object related services case. In such a cases, typically you are going to create an object in this manner. Okay, Gmail service is equal to new Gmail service, guys. New Gmail service. Okay, like that Yahoo Mail service, Yahoo service is equal to new Yahoo Mail service. As many as number of an objects, it will be the creating inside this class, mail service class only, by using the new keyword. So this is a static way of a this is a static way of creating an object, guys. Understand? The second example also will comes under such a category only. So programmatically, the point of view I'm talking here. Okay, so Java application collects basically the thing is you will be having some middle application servers. Application servers means WebLogic server or Wildfly server. Okay, in that server will contains what? Some middleware services. One of the middleware services for what? JND registry. So the JND registry contains what? JND registry, guys. When you guys are working with the connection pooling, server side connection pooling, guys, that will comes under what? Tight coupling between the Java objects, guys. Your servlet object and the JNDA object will becomes as and what? Tightly coupled. The best example is for what? Implementing the connection pooling using server side. Understand? Hope you guys are comfortable about this slide of information. What is the problem with the scenario one? So what is the problem of the scenario one, guys? So right now the mail service class is used to send an emails by using what? Gmail or Yahoo Mail or any kind of a Hotmail, guys. Okay, so but as of now the my mail service is decided to send the emails via Gmail or Yahoo Mail. Can you guys please confirm? Can you guys please confirm? My mail service class wanted to send some sort of an emails to the customers. So in such a case, which email concept I have used here? Gmail or Yahoo Mail? So right now my class is Gmail only. So Gmail only. So in the Gmail service, there is in the method called what? Check email method. So what is the purpose of check email method? To verify the emails of the given customer ID, right or not? Customer email. Is that true? Is that true? So what is the first problem, guys? There is a chance of changing the name of the method in the Gmail service class or not? Come on, guys. Is there any chance? Is there any chance of changing the mail? Is there any chance of changing the method name in the Gmail service class from check mail to view mail? Check mail to view mail. Is there any chance or not? Whenever the dependent object is modified, it will be reflected to the main object as well or not, guys? Come on, guys. That is the first major problem or not, the tight coupling. If there is any modification in the, if there is any modification, okay, if there is any modification on the dependent object, guys, if there is any modification in the dependent object, okay, dependent object, so definitely the main object will be reflected. So what is an example for it, sir? So right now the Gmail service contains what, check email method. Basically that method is useful for what, viewing the mails, guys. So there is a chance of changing the method name from check mail to view mail. In such a case, guys, definitely it will be reflected to the main object. Understand? That is the first problem of tight coupling, guys. What is the second problem, guys? So as of now, the Gmail is giving for some sort of an operation, some sort of a services, so that I have utilized the Gmail service, right or not? I have utilized the Gmail service. In the future, I wanted to change this the Gmail service to Yahoo Mail service. In such a case as well, I need to touch like as the main object or not to replace the dependencies. As of now, the current application will be the supporting for what, sending an emails using the Gmail, because of Google is providing some best efficient services. Okay, later part of our enhancement of our project, your client asked us to send an email through Yahoo Mail server. In such a case as well, I need to touch with the main class object or not? Come on, guys, please confirm. Whenever you want to replace the Gmail service object to Yahoo Mail service, in such a case as well, I need to touch with what, main object or not, guys? Yes, definitely. Okay, the first problem is, if there is any modifications on the dependency object means, then definitely the main object will be reflected. That is the first problem. Second problem is, whenever you want to change the dependencies from the Gmail service to Yahoo Mail service, in such a case as well, we need to touch like as in the main object. Is that true? Is that true, guys? Everybody? Yes. So hope you guys are clear about the tight coupling scenarios, where exactly the tight coupling will comes into the picture and what is the problem with the tight coupling as well. Everybody? Can you guys please confirm quickly? Let us talk about more on it. Shall I get into the next slide? Give the confirmation. Shall I get into the next slide? Sir, I need some responses from your side, sir, so that I can understand you are following with me. Okay, try to interact with me. Okay, try to interact with me and try to respond over the chat. Okay, yes. Okay, then. So in order to overcome the problems of the tight coupling, guys, definitely the next kind of the coupling comes into the Java called what? Loose coupling. Loose coupling means there is a no dependency to create like as an one object with another object case. That is called the loose coupling. Okay, in Java, the loose coupling means the classes are independent of each other. The classes are independent of each other. How come the classes will becomes as an independent to each other, guys? You no need to create a Java class, and you no need to create, or you no need to extend or implement any third party related classes. Those classes will becomes as an what, independent with each others. Okay, loose coupling. In the loose coupling, guys, the knowledge of one class has about like as another class, guys. Okay, but see, guys, in the loose coupling, guys, the knowledge of one class has about the another class, guys, is what the other class has exposed through the interfaces. So as I already told you, in order to get the loose coupling between the Java objects, guys, okay, in order to get like as the loose coupling between the Java objects, the first approach is for what, guys? Developing the classes by using interface approaches. Interface approaches means what? Creating one interface, and you can have as many as number of implementation classes. That approach will be the better approach to come to get the loose coupling between the Java objects, guys. Understood, everybody? Then the loose coupling, guys, the knowledge of the one class has about to the another class, case in what the other class is exposed through what? Interfaces. Okay, so means in order to get the loose coupling between the Java objects, guys, always recommended to define for what, guys? Interfaces concept. Understand? And we can implement the loose coupling between the Java objects by using abstract classes and interfaces, guys. Mostly we'll use for what? Interfaces. Okay, so for example, guys, the same kind of functionality, the mail service is a class in the earlier, but now the mail service will becomes as an what? Interface. So mail service class is an interface case which will contains what? Two methods. One method is useful for what? Sending an emails. Another method is for what? Reading the emails. Understood, guys? Everybody? So now we have created like as in the mail service as an interface. So mail service as an interface which contains what? Two methods. One is what? Send email method. Okay. Another method is for what? Read email method. So tell me. So one method is useful for what? Sending the emails. Another method is useful for what? Reading the emails. So I can have more implementations of this an interface or not? Come on, guys. So we can have the more implementations. We can have as many as number of implementations or not, guys? Definitely. So definitely we can have as many as number of implementations, guys. As many as number of implementations for this the mail service interface. So one is for what? Gmail service, that is called IC. IC stands for what? Implementation class. Another mail service called what? Email service. Okay. Another email is called what? Yahoo mail service. Okay. So in future, if the client asked us to send an email through Hotmail means, definitely you no need to touch the interface. You will be the creating a new class. You will be the creating a new class called what? Hot email service, Hotmail service. That is another implementation class. Okay, that is another implementation class of the mail service case. In such a case, I do not to touch with what? Interface again. Is that clear? Is that clear or not, guys? So this is the one way. This is the one way of getting the loose coupling between the Java objects, guys. As I already told you, some extent only you will get the loose coupling between the Java objects. You cannot achieve the 100% loose coupling between the Java objects, case. Understood, guys? You can achieve some extent to what? The loose coupling between the Java objects, but you cannot achieve the 100% loose coupling between the Java objects using interfaces concept. Understand, guys? So as you know that one, guys, we can create with what? Interface and its implementation class object. You can create an object of implementation class. That implementation class object can be holded in the interface variable. That is a possible, right? That is a possible or not? Yes. So this is the first way of getting the loose coupling between the Java objects, guys. Hope you guys are comfortable. Any doubts? In the future, any kind of the mail service comes into the picture means that will be the considering as an what? Okay. So if the interface comes into the picture means you cannot represent as an interface as an what? Spring bean. Always you can define like as in the Java class as a spring bean. Sachin. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So this is the one of the see, in the future, if any other mail service comes into the picture in an application for sending an emails and reading an emails, definitely you can create with what? In another new implementation class without touching an interface. Understand? Can you guys please confirm everybody in line with me? The people who are in the session. So can you guys please confirm everybody, you guys are in line with me or not? Any confusions? Any confusions? Yeah. No. No. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your confirmation. Yeah. Fine. Hope you understand exactly where exactly the tight coupling between the objects. Okay. Where exactly the tight coupling between the objects and problems with the tight coupling. How can you overcome those things in the loose coupling as in the first technique? So here are the so what we have overcome, sir? Method naming problem. Method naming problem. In the last slide, as you know that one in the last slide, guys, in the last slide, if you remember correctly, so there isn't the chance of changing the method name in the dependent class. There is a chance of changing the method name in the dependent class, such as what? In place of check emails, you can go with what? View emails. View emails. Right or not? That problem will be there. That problem we have been overcome with the help of what? Interfaces. Okay, interface naming problem that will be the solved here 100%. Okay, fine. Let's get into the what? Another kind of the mechanism to get the loose coupling between the Java objects, guys. Okay, dependency injection, as you already know that one, guys, dependency injection is one of the fundamental concept of the Spring framework. Okay, Spring container only will take care of injecting the dependencies required at the runtime. Okay, through the dependency mechanism, guys. Understand, guys? Dependency injection means it's nothing but in the process of injecting the dependent class object into the main class by the by the container at runtime. That is called Spring container. That is called dependency injection process. Okay, and who will do this such process, guys? Spring container. Spring container only will inject the dependencies required for a class at runtime through dependency injection mechanism. Understand, guys? And Spring framework will provides three kinds of dependency injection mechanisms, guys. Okay, Spring framework, guys, the Spring framework will provide the three kinds of dependency injection mechanisms. One is for what? Setter injection. Another one is for what? Constructor injection. And the third one is for what? Interface injection, guys. Okay, Spring framework will support how many types of injections? How many types of DI? How many types of dependency injections or DI? Tell me. Three types. One is for what? Setter injection. Another one is for what? Constructor injection. The third one is for what? Interface injection, guys. Sir, what is an useful of these injections? That is what I'm going to talk here. So for example, guys, if you see here, okay, so employee class requires what object? Employee class requires what object, guys? Employee class requires what object? Address object. So to inject the address object into the employee object, guys, okay, we will be the handovering these two classes to the Spring container. Spring container, please create an object of this employee class and please create an object of the address class, so that Spring container only will take care of reading such objects in the memory, guys. And so that the Spring container only will take care of injecting the address class object into the employee class by using the setter method of that particular property, case. That's all. That is called setter injection. If the dependent object will be injected into the main object by taking the help of a setter method, means that that injection we can call it as a setter injection, guys. Okay, here employee is on the main object and address is nothing but on the dependent object, case. Whenever you guys are injecting the dependent object into the main object by taking the help of a setter method of a Java class, such a mechanism we can call it as an what? Setter injection or not? Come on, guys. So when you guys are injecting the address class object into the employee class by taking the help of setter method of the address property, that is called setter injection. Understand? That is the true. And what is another one, guys? Is a constructor injection, guys. What do you mean by constructor injection? Injecting the address class into the employee class by taking the support of an employee class constructor. By taking the support of an employee class constructor, such a mechanism we can call it as an what? Constructor injection. Hope you guys are comfortable, everybody. Hope you guys are comfortable or not. Yeah, fine. Okay, fine, guys, fine. So if the point here you need to remember is, see, if the one class requires like as another class object, guys, if the one class requires like as another class object, so employee class requires like as an address class object, guys, can you please confirm, am I creating a address class object using the new keyword inside the employee class? Am I creating a new object of an employee? Am I creating the new object of an employee, a new object of an address class inside the employee class, guys? No, I'm not at all creating anything. I'm not at all creating an objects of employee class and address class here. If you see here the code of snippet, okay, employee class object and address class object will be created by whom? Spring container, guys. Spring container only. Spring container only will create these two class objects, and Spring container only will inject the address class object into the employee class. Okay, into the employee class by taking the help of what? Setter method. That is called setter injection. Okay, so here tell me, guys, the loose coupling between the Java objects through what mechanism? Am I creating any kind of an objects inside the, am I creating any objects using the new keyword inside the Java classes? So am I getting like as the loose coupling between the Java objects through dependency injection or not? I'm not at all bothering about the creating of an objects of the certain classes. Everything will be taken care by IOC container for me. Okay, so that my life will becomes easy. My life will becomes what easy in the project development, right or not? That is what we do. That is what we can achieve with the help of dependency injection, guys. So if everybody is clear up to now, up to now, is that everyone is clear? Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Okay, these are the basics, guys. These are the basics of the Spring. These are the basic and introduction about with what is the Spring core module. Sir, in order to start the applications, okay, in order to start application in the Spring framework, guys, these are the fundamentals and the basics you need to know. What is a Spring Bean? What is the Spring container? What is the role of the dependency injection? And what is the role of the Spring container? And how can you mark the Java class as a Spring Bean? Okay, how can you mark like as the Java class as a Spring Bean? What do you mean by tight coupling and what do you mean by loose coupling? How can we? What are the problems with the tight coupling and what are the benefits which we are going to get the loose coupling and how many mechanisms are there in the loose coupling? All these things which we are getting, which we have cleared so far. Everybody is clear? Everybody is clear, guys? Yeah, fine. So these are the done, guys. So these are so far we are completed with the theoretical part and introduction about like as in the Spring framework. Okay, Spring framework. Okay, so now tomorrow onwards we will start with about hands-on coding. Tomorrow onwards we will start with what? Hands-on coding, guys. Hands-on coding. How to develop the first Spring application. How to develop the first Spring application, guys. I'm going to talk about it on the tomorrow onwards. Okay, so make sure that, guys, you need to complete the environmental setup by today itself. How to prepare the environment, what are the things we need to download from the web. Okay, how to configure those things in your local mission. Okay, how can you work with those tools? All these things I'm going to talk in the environmental setup. Okay, yes. Okay, fine. So let us see, guys, in order to work with the Spring, in order to develop the applications using Spring framework, guys, first of all, you need to install the Java software in your mission. Make sure that. So make sure that first of all, you should need to the minimum. So you need to install the Java software in your mission with the minimum of 1.8 version. That is the first primary condition. Okay, that is what I missed, guys, in this slide. Let me add it. Okay, let me add it, guys, quickly. Okay, done. Yeah, fine, guys. So see, guys, what is the first primary step? What is the first primary step, guys? What is the first primary step? Tell me. What is the first primary step? You need to install the Java software with you need to download the Java software, guys. You need to download the Java software from the web and you need to install the minimum version of 1.8. Okay, you guys are already familiar. Okay, how to download the Java software and how to install the Java software and how to configure the path variable. I'm not at all going to discuss about these things in here. Okay, make sure that you need to be ready with the Java first. Make sure that you need to be ready with the Java, guys. Okay, yes. Another one, guys. Another one. The next one is for what? So you need to download any one of the IDE software, any one of the IDEs, guys. Okay, if you guys wanted to work with what Eclipse IDE for developing the Spring applications, you can download the Eclipse IDE. Okay, so you can develop in order to develop the so in order to develop the applications of the Spring framework using STS IDE as well, means you can download it. If you guys wanted to work with what IntelliJ IDE as well, you can work it, guys. Okay, going forward slowly, you will get to learn every IDE, guys, in our practical point of view. Okay, so see, guys, what is the difference between Eclipse IDE and IntelliJ IDE, sir? Eclipse IDE is for what? For the for developing the enterprise applications, guys. But whereas in STS ID is also developed on top of the Eclipse only, but it is purely given for what? Developing the Spring applications very easily by using STS IDE, sir. Okay, not at all for the Spring, guys. So Spring Boot applications also, which we can develop with the help of STS IDE as in the quickly within the short. So we can utilize in order to develop the Spring applications, guys. So definitely we need to go for what? STS IDE. Okay, so which is on the which will be what? Developing the Spring applications very easily by using STS IDE, sir. Understood, everybody? Okay, so that is the thing. And you need to download the Spring software. You need to download like as in the Spring software from the Spring repository, guys. Okay, you guys need to download for what? The Spring software from the Spring repository. Understood, everybody? Okay, yeah. So let me show you guys. Let me show you. Okay, let me show you guys. Let me show you on that how to download the things. How to download the things. I'm going to show you here. Just a minute. Okay, yes. So observe carefully, guys. So first one is make sure your Java should contains what? Make sure your Java should contains what, guys? Your Java should be the what? Minimum of 1.8 version. That is true. And what is the second condition? 1.8 version, minimum 1.8 version. Okay, what is the second condition, guys? You need to download the Spring software from the Spring repository. You need to download the Spring software from the Spring repository, guys. I'm going to share that the Spring repository link in the over the chat. Everyone get that link. Okay, everyone get that link, guys. Okay, everyone get that link, guys. Everyone get that link from here, from the chat box. Okay, this is the URL. This is what the repository URL, guys. So far, whatever the releases are there, okay, or related to the Spring framework, those releases will be then available under this the Spring repository. Okay, yeah. See, guys, 6.x will not be the part of this repository, guys. That we will talk later. Okay, as of now, in this the repository of the Spring framework, guys. Okay, as of now, the repository of the Spring framework, so far whatever the versions got released into the market, okay, so those versions are available here. Okay, if you see here, guys, very recently control F 04 control F 04-23. So see, guys, how many got highlighted here? How many got highlighted here? So see, the Spring 5.2.3 5.2.4 is got released on the March month. Okay, another one is for what? On the March month it was upgraded with what? 5.3.27, right? So these are the two things, guys. These are the two things very recently got updated from the 5.x. Okay, either 5.3.27 or else 5.2.23. Any one of the version is fine. Okay, you can utilize any one of the thing, guys. See here, guys, if you want to utilize some more the latest version of 12th of this month. Okay, 12th of this month, guys. Okay, 12th May 2021. Okay, 12th May 2021. Okay, 2021. It's not 2023. Okay, sorry. Okay, so this is the 2023 5.3.27 we will use for the currently we are going to use for what? 5.x. Spring 5.x we are going to use the version for what, guys? 5.3.27. Okay, this is the first thing you need to download from your internet. Okay, that is the first one, guys. And the second one is for what? And the second one is for what, guys? A Spring Toolsuit IDE. Okay, a Spring Toolsuit IDE, guys. Spring Toolsuit download. So just to get into what? Spring Toolsuit, Spring Tools. Okay, yes. So this is the one, guys. This is another one. Okay, you can integrate the Spring Toolsuit using Visual Studio Code, and you can it's a Spring Tool 4 for what? Eclipse. You can download the Windows version according to your operating system, guys. You can download for what? See, in this here, once you select on it, guys, okay, you need to download the zip file. You need to download the zip file. Understand? You need to download the zip file, guys. This is the documentation. This is the documentation of this version. These are nothing but on the schemas, and these are nothing but on the forms. You just download this one, guys. You just need to download this one, distribution.zip. That's all. Okay. Yeah. Fine. So what is the next one, guys? What is the next one? What is the next one? So request you to download for what? Spring Toolsuite. Spring Tools for Eclipse. According to your operating system, you can download it. So click on this one, 4.18.1, 4.18.1, guys. So see here, you can download these things anywhere in your local mission. So which you'll get as in the jar file, which you will get as in the jar file, guys. That is the second step. Hope you guys are comfortable. So first step is for what? Getting the Spring software from the Spring repo. That is the first one. Second step is for what? Getting the STS IDE from the STS from the Spring Toolsuite. That is the second option. Hope you guys are comfortable. Yes. So observe carefully, guys. I have like as in my workspace folder, guys. I have some workspace folder on my mission. So where exactly the Ashok IT related trainings I'm going to store into the workspace. Understand? Yes. So see, guys. So this is your batch 30_31. I believe that your batch will be 31, guys. Okay. So but unfortunately they made mistake. They made some mistake at the admin view. Okay. So your batch code will be 31, guys. Okay. Your batch code will be what? 31. So let me change it. Okay. Let me change it. I will change the later, guys. Okay. See, guys, this is the folder. This is the folder basically you are going to get. Okay, fine. 30th Spring Boot, all the applications for your batch, all the related applications, softwares, I'm going to place under the 30_ Spring Boot and microservices. Okay, yes. Under that, so see, guys, so this is the downloaded jar file from the STS IDE, from the STS website. This is the STS. This is the STS ID, guys. This is the STS downloadable. So once you got the jar file here, just double click on it. It will extract to normal folder. Understand, guys? Understand my point? Once the download got completed, guys. Once the download got completed. Okay. Once the download got completed. Once the download got completed, guys, just double click on it. Double click on it, guys. Okay. Double click on it so that automatically the normal folder will get it here. So once you click on that, once you double click onto the normal, once you get into that normal folder, there is the executable file called what? Spring Toolsuite 4. Double click on it. Double click on it. Okay. Double click on it, guys. And you can configure your workspace. Okay. Workspace means what? Where exactly your projects of STS ID will be stored in your mission. Okay, you can create your workspace, case. You can create and configure your workspace and be ready with that. Hope you guys are comfortable. What is the first primary step to download? So first you need to download with what? The Java software should be configured correctly in your mission. That is the first primary step. And you can download any one of the IDE, guys. As of now, for the recommended is for what? STS IDE. STS IDE is purely useful for what? Widely used for what? Developing the Spring applications. Widely used for developing the Spring applications, guys. Okay. And later part of our session, we will be using for what? Eclipse IDE and IntelliJ IDE. Don't worry about it. Okay. That is the second step. And the third step is for what? Spring software repository to download. Okay. Where exactly the Spring software repository you need to download? 5.x. 5.x latest version in the month of March. In the month of March, they released some version, guys. So download that one, 5.3.27. That's all. Okay. Yes. In the tomorrow, I'm going to talk about developing the first application, guys. First, you need to create a Spring Bean class. Then we need to create a Spring configuration file. And then you can create a Spring client application with the main method to execute the Spring application. Okay. In that, you need to create a resources. Okay. For pointing the Spring configuration file, activating the Spring container, guys, and then requesting the Spring Bean object from the container and call the Spring Bean service methods and all these things I'm going to talk in the tomorrow session. This is a slide of information which I'm going to talk on the tomorrow session, guys. After getting to understand about all these points, we will start coding. We will start with the coding using what? STS IDE. So this is all about for the today's session, guys. Okay. Yes. Don't consider this one. Okay, I need to update the modification. Okay, tomorrow we have the regular session. Tomorrow we have the regular session, guys. Tomorrow we will be having the same session with the same bridge at 6:15. Okay, hope you guys are comfortable. Anybody having any questions, you can ask me now for your time. So the people who have joined like today, so definitely you will receive an email from the admin team with the last three with the last three videos. Okay, definitely guys, the people who have joined with the today only, you will get like as in the totally the 4 videos up to today videos in the email. Okay, so the people who are the part of an Ashok IT Telegram channel, so the people who are the part of and who are already the part of an Ashok IT Telegram channel, guys, you can find the post, guys. You can find the post of Spring Boot and Microservices by Mahesh sir. Okay, in that you will get the videos. In that post itself, you can have the video links. Okay, that is the second source where you can get the Ashok IT Telegram channel. Okay, if anybody not yet subscribed with the Telegram channel of an Ashok IT, request you to subscribe it to get more updates from the Ashok IT YouTube channel. Okay, yes. So that's all. Anybody having any questions? Anybody having any questions means you can just ask me. Yeah, look up injection. We will talk later, Sachin. Anybody having any questions, please feel free to ask the questions about the course or about any kind of an information you wanted to know. Come on, guys. Don't you have any questions? Don't you have any questions, guys? Don't you have any questions? Okay, then I request you to complete the registration process by early, guys, because might be the day after tomorrow onwards, the link may changes. Okay, so as early as possible, try to complete the registrations, guys. Okay, yeah. So if anybody wanted to know about the course related things or any doubts, you can ask me. So can I consider, sir, I given you the unmute option for you guys. I given you the unmute option for you. So now you are open for the questions.
Sir, I have one question.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Srinivas. Yeah.
There we are loose coupling point of view in that interface. Without defining how we can implement, sir. We need to, if we want to implement means we can define in interface.
Definitely. So see the interface itself, in the loose coupling slide itself, you have the left hand side as an interface code.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, whatever the common methods required for an application, that common methods you can specify as an what interface, and for that an interface you can have multiple implementation classes.
But you were saying that without you are not defining an interface inside, you can implement any another another mail service like that. You say no, sir. How, sir?
No.
No.
So mail service is an interface. Mail service is an interface which contains the two methods which are helpful for sending an emails, basically. Okay, you can have the multiple implementations for that methods, right? So that is Gmail service and Yahoo Mail service. So wherever, so now if you are creating, if you are injecting the interface in a mail service object into your class, means either any one of the implementation should be injected based on your requirement. But that is what I told you. We cannot get the 100% loose coupling between these objects, because if the implementation class changes means I need to touch the Java code again.
Yes, sir. Exactly. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So might to be some extent you will get like as in the method naming problem get resolved in this mechanism.
Okay. Without a dependency object, simply you can define that interface inside that specific method, then you can implement.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Bhopal, don't download the Java 20. Always recommended you to work with what LTS, long-term supported versions, such as Java 8, Java 11, Java 17, and upcoming Java 21. So those are the long-term supported versions. I request you to download and work with what everybody LTS versions only, guys. Okay. So those are the non-LTS versions which are not helpful for the project developments, basically. LTS versions are only the useful for what project developments, guys. Okay. So Bhupal, you need to download the Java 8 or Java 11 or Java 17. Yeah. 17 is okay. Yeah. You can go with that. Okay. Fine, guys. So that's all for the today, guys. Again, we'll meet you on the tomorrow with the same bridge. Okay. So, and tomorrow we'll start with the coding part. Okay. Yeah. So that's all for today. We'll meet you on the tomorrow, guys. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.